Yo, what's good with y'all, fam? Back in another video, and I hope that you guys are enjoying your day today. Hope that you guys are having a beautiful, blessed, loving, amazing journey. So, in today's video, I'm going to be speaking on something that I realized, something kind of deep and personal. So first and foremost, let's start it off like this. If anyone watching, if you guys know the YouTuber Solominati, I just found out today from with the video he posted. So he recently just lost his brother, right? And like I'm watching his video, right, and I see that he's like breaking down, he's like crying, he's all emotional. And like it instantly reminded me of like a memory that I instantly got a memory because like I remember I was once in his point, you feel me? I was once in that perspective, in that point, you feel me, to where I was broken down in a moment. And this is like it went like this. Like I remember there was a time I was chilling with my homeboys, and like bro, like honestly that day I remember saying some things that I like, it just came out of my mouth. I remember saying some things to my mother. And then later on that day I went to go chill with my homeboys, and like, we're smoking and everything. And I was high, when you're high you're more elevated, right? And it's like I remember getting these thoughts of like the things that I was saying to my mother, and like in that moment I felt like I literally felt like I lost my mother even though she was still alive. Like I felt the emotions, and I bawled my eyes out in front of my boys, bro. I bawled my eyes out because it literally felt like right in the moment I was losing my mom. And I felt so like guilty, and like I felt very regretful because of the things that I might have said to her. You feel me? It wasn't even crazy things that I said to her. It was just like, it just makes you think of the things that you sometimes say when you're in the moment, you're not thinking straight, right? And I'm saying this all right now because in that moment I was crying, you feel me, and I was like very emotional, And we as spiritual beings, we know like when we lose people, right, they're not really gone, you feel me? It's just their vessel is gone, right? They live eternally. They're going ahead and they pass on to another life. You feel me? Or sometimes they come back. But we know this, right? As spiritual beings, we know this, that we're aware, right? But the message to here, the point of me saying this is that we're spiritual beings, we're aware, but we're also in this human experience. And I remember that moment, yo, and I didn't realize when he said it to me because I didn't understand it. But I remember the moment, and sorry to get out talking, but I remember the moment I was bawling my eyes out, right, in front of my boys. One of my whole boys, he was like, "Yeah, the ego." He said it. He says, "Yeah, the ego sometimes creeps up on you." You feel me? He said, "The ego sometimes creeps up on you." You feel me? In the moment I was crying, I didn't understand. I heard him, but I didn't understand what he meant. And now I'm like realizing, that's why I'm making this video, is that the ego sometimes creeps up on us, guys. And it's not bad for the ego to creep up on us, guys. You feel me? It's not bad to, you feel me, sometimes cry, or you lose somebody and you're gonna cry. It's part of the human experience. You feel me? Grief, that's an emotion, that's an experience. You feel me? That's why you're here. You feel me? You're here to experience that. That makes you grow. That's part of this experience. You feel me? Don't. I feel like sometimes we get like, we try to block it out. We try to block out this ego. You feel me? And the ego can sometimes be bad. It can sometimes be great. You feel me? Let's look at it as a neutral point. The ego in this moment right now, whether you lost somebody or Solominati, he's grieving right now. Don't think that just because you're a spiritual being that you got to disregard this, that you can disregard the ego, that you can get away from experiencing emotions like this, because you can't. It's part of the contract. It's part of you being here in this physical vessel. You feel me? When you go through a really hard time, or in a moment like this, which is major, you feel me? This is part of an awakening. It's showing you who you are, what you're here to experience. And sometimes you may lose focus of that because you're so high-headed. Sometimes we lose focus of that because we're so high-headed, and we try to disregard it because we're spiritual beings, because we're aware, because we know that when we pass on and we leave this vessel here, we live another life, right? But you also can understand you're here in the now. You feel me? You're here in the now. You're your physical vessel now. Your soul, your eternal self, your true self, your infinite being, your pure soul. See, your pure soul can understand that. Your pure soul you without this vessel can go through an emotion of grief. You feel me? Can experience grief and not let it take over you, not let it, you feel me, not be embodied by it. You feel me? And see it as a neutral point. See it with a field of view, or like a bird's eye view. But you in this vessel right now, if you go through a challenging moment, not just grief, anything, you feel me, anything tough, you will embody those emotions. Those emotions will be embodied because it's part of that human experience. It's part of this human experience, you know. So yeah, you know, message for today. Point for today is like you're human, bro. You know, we're all human and we all go through shit. You know, you're gonna go through shit. I haven't lost anybody, but thankfully, but just this doesn't go with losing just people. This goes with anything challenging in life. Like you're gonna go through these things, and if you try to resist, because I remember, yo, in that moment when I was bawling my eyes out and I was experiencing those emotions, like I said, even though I didn't lose my mom, it felt like I was losing her, and it's so painful. Like not painful, but it just feels so heavy and so like tough. Like especially if you try to resist. I remember that moment, bro, when I was crying, I was trying to resist. Like in my mind, I was telling my mind, I was trying to control my mind. I was like, she's still alive, she's still here. Like I know she's still here. I just spoke to her. But like when you try to resist emotions like this, when you try to resist, you know, it's so tough. It makes it even harder. Don't resist, guys. Like go through the emotions, you know, go through the emotions, flow, be like water. Because when you resist, it's worse, bro. It really sucks. So yeah, with that being said, I'm glad I got this message out today. I'm glad I got inspired to make this message. With that being said, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Keep creating, keep evolving, and I'm out. Peace and thank you for your support.